back to our channel. Join us as we delve deeper into the whirlwind of secrets, lies, and the struggle for survival. Grayson is attacked by Ren, but instead of going to a hospital, he seeks out his nurse girlfriend, Ashley. Will his actions put Ashley in danger? Jacob is angry that Grayson disregarded Ashley's safety. If Ashley accidentally overhears their secret, how will she react? Note, this content is for informational purposes only. Thank you for your interest. The investigation into the elusive and highly dangerous plasma ring has officially crossed the threshold from a tense mystery into a desperate fight for physical survival. We have watched as the stakes have systematically been raised, but the latest developments plunge our characters into a terrifying reality where one wrong move means certain death. Jacob, operating under a suffocating blanket of paranoia, has already felt the brutal physical consequences of his relentless pursuit of the truth. Having been mercilessly battered by his own treacherous contact, Ren, Jacob has been forced into the shadows, shifting his clandestine meetings to building elevators just to avoid the prying eyes of those who might wish him dead. But how long can a man hide in a metal box before the walls inevitably close in on him? Can Jacob truly outrun the lethal reach of the plasma ring, or is he merely delaying an inevitable and violent end? The tension reaches a boiling point with the shocking revelation that Grayson, the evasive and anxious laboratory technician, has been violently stabbed. This is no longer a game of corporate espionage or hidden files. Blood is now spilling onto the streets. Grayson, bleeding and desperate, found himself in an impossible predicament. Why did he not immediately call an ambulance? The answer lies in the terrifying protocols of the medical and legal systems. Grayson knew all too well that he could not simply walk into any local hospital emergency room with a mysterious stab wound. Medical personnel are legally obligated to ask a barrage of probing questions regarding violent injuries. How did this happen? Who attacked you? Where did the altercation take place? These standard triage inquiries would instantly trigger a mandatory police report. Law enforcement would descend upon the hospital, launching an official investigation that would inevitably expose the dark underbelly of the plasma ring. Would Grayson have survived the police interrogation, or would his fragile nerves have shattered, taking Jacob down with him? In his moment of agonizing pain and sheer panic, Grayson attempted to reach out to his primary lifeline in this dark underworld. He frantically dialed the number for Rashad, the street alias Jacob has been utilizing to mask his true identity. But the phone rang endlessly. Jacob did not answer the call immediately. Where was Jacob during this critical window of time? Was he dodging another threat from Ren, or simply unaware of the catastrophe unfolding? Left with no other viable options and feeling his life slipping away with every drop of blood, the desperate laboratory technician made a fateful decision that would alter the trajectory of multiple lives. He turned to the one person he believed he could trust implicitly, his girlfriend, Ashley. Ashley, a dedicated and highly skilled nurse, suddenly found her personal and professional worlds violently colliding. Imagine the sheer horror of opening your front door to find the man you love bleeding from a vicious stab wound. Grayson weaponized her love and her medical expertise, drawing her into a lethal conspiracy without her consent. He manipulated her professional oath to heal, using her as a private, off-the-books physician to patch him up and keep the authorities completely in the dark. But at what cost does this secret medical intervention come? Is Ashley's love strong enough to blind her to the glaring red flags of Grayson's injuries? Or is her sharp medical intuition already piecing together the terrifying puzzle? When Jacob finally discovers what has transpired, his reaction is nothing short of explosive. Jacob is visibly furious, his simmering paranoia igniting into a blazing rage over the fact that Grayson has dragged an innocent outsider into their deadly orbit. Jacob understands the ruthless nature of the people they are dealing with. He knows firsthand the bone-crushing violence that Ren is capable of inflicting. By involving Ashley, Grayson has not only compromised the absolute secrecy of their investigation, but has essentially painted a massive target on his girlfriend's back. How could Grayson be so reckless? Does the lab technician truly not comprehend the magnitude of the danger, or was his self-preservation instinct simply too overpowering to care about the collateral damage? The dynamic between Jacob and Grayson has now morphed into a suffocating, forced alliance forged in blood and terror. They are completely tethered to one another. A two-man team walking a tightrope over a bottomless abyss. Jacob makes it brutally clear to the wounded lab technician they must rely exclusively on each other moving forward. There is zero margin for error. If Grayson fails to complete his assigned tasks, or if his fragile nerves finally snap under the immense pressure, it will not just be a failed investigation. It will be a death sentence for both of them. The detective's broader investigation into the plasma ring is simultaneously escalating, growing more hazardous by the minute. With the police circling closer and the internal enforcers of the plasma ring tightening their grip, how can Jacob and Grayson possibly navigate this deadly labyrinth? Will their forced partnership hold strong, or will the crushing weight of their mutual distrust tear them apart before their enemies even have a chance to strike? Yet, the most breathtaking twist in this escalating drama unfolds not in the frantic arguments between the two men, but in the quiet, shadowed hallway just outside their meeting room. Ashley, the supposedly naive girlfriend and unwitting medical savior, is not as oblivious as Grayson hoped. Standing silently behind a half-closed door, she listens. The sensory details of this moment are utterly palpable. She can hear the harsh, hushed whispers of Jacob's fury. She can hear the trembling, defensive excuses tumbling from Grayson's lips. Through the narrow crack in the door, she witnesses the terrifying reality of the man she thought she knew. She hears every damning word about the true nature of Grayson's stab wound, the terrifying alias Rashad, and the lethal stakes of their ongoing investigation. What goes through a woman's mind when the foundation of her entire relationship crumbles in a matter of seconds? Instead of succumbing to blind panic or rushing into the room in tears, Ashley experiences a profound and chilling emotional shift. A deep, agonizing sense of betrayal washes over her. She realizes with horrifying clarity that she is not a cherished partner. She is merely a convenient pawn in their twisted, high-stakes game. Grayson did not come to her out of pure love. He came to her because she possessed the medical skills to keep him alive and the presumed loyalty to keep her mouth shut. How does a dedicated nurse reconcile the fact that she has unknowingly become an accomplice to a dangerous criminal enterprise? Will this soul-crushing betrayal destroy her, or will it forge her into something far more dangerous? In a moment of brilliant, cold calculation, Ashley makes a decision that changes everything. She does not reveal her presence. She does not confront the men and demand an explanation. Instead, she slowly and silently pulls her smartphone from her pocket. With a trembling but resolute finger, she presses the record button. She captures the entire, damning conversation, digitally immortalizing the truth about the plasma ring, Jacob's true identity, and Grayson's complicity. This audio file instantly becomes the most dangerous weapon in Genoa City. Why did Ashley choose to gather evidence rather than flee? Is she planning to take this recording straight to the police, effectively signing her boyfriend's arrest warrant? Or is she holding onto it as a desperate insurance policy to protect her own life? Ashley is highly intelligent, and as she listens to the men outline the fatal consequences of their actions, a terrifying realization dawns on her. Grayson is not just a man in severe danger. His sheer proximity to this violent underworld makes her incredibly vulnerable. By treating his wound and becoming entangled in his web of lies, she has inadvertently stepped into the crosshairs of ruthless killers. She knows that if the people hunting Grayson discover she patched him up, they will not hesitate to silence her permanently. How can she possibly protect herself from an enemy she cannot even see? Can a simple nurse outsmart hardened criminals and desperate investigators? This compelling narrative leaves us breathless, drowning in a sea of dramatic and intriguing questions. What will happen if Jacob, with his hyper-vigilant paranoia, discovers that Ashley was eavesdropping? Would he view her as a loose end that needs to be violently tied up, just as Ren dealt with him? How long can Grayson maintain the charade of the loving boyfriend, completely unaware that his partner now holds the key to his absolute destruction in the palm of her hand? And what is the ultimate endgame for the plasma ring? As the detective's investigation inches closer to the bloody truth, the collision course between the law, the criminals, and these desperate individuals seems completely unavoidable. The brilliant layering of this storyline showcases the true mastery of daytime drama. We are witnessing the birth of a formidable new player in Ashley, a woman pushed to the absolute brink who refuses to be a silent victim. Her transition from a healing nurse to a strategic wildcard adds an electrifying layer of suspense to an already explosive situation. As we eagerly await the next episode, we are left to ponder the ultimate fate of these tragic characters. Will the recording be the catalyst that brings the entire plasma ring crashing down, or will it be the very thing that seals Ashley's tragic fate? Stay tuned, because in this dangerous game of survival, the only certainty is that more blood will inevitably be shed.